Hi there, Andrew here. I love to be entertained. But I have no patience, so I give every new show I watch only one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Today we will be watching, or well, you can do what you want. I'm going to watch the first episode of SEIS Manos. I have no idea what the show is. I never heard of it before. But I was sitting there a couple nights back thinking, I'm bored. I should watch something. And so I turned on Netflix and started browsing around. I came across SEIS Manos, and apparently it's a martial arts show with magic and sorcery and stuff in it. I said, oh, that's cool. And then I went to bed because it was like after midnight. But I thought, hey, just because my computer is broken at time of filming, I'm PC-less, doesn't mean I can't shoot a couple things and edit them later when I get a new PC. So, SEIS Manos. Orphans raised by a martial arts master are plunged into a mystery involving demonic powers, drug cartels, ancient rituals, and blood sacrifice. Fun. So we appear to be going for a 70s grindhouse vibe here. Cool. Cool. Complete with film scratches and heavy grain. Sometimes it's very inconsistent, which is weird. Like, the opening scene is full scratchy film grain and stuff, and then we switch to the main city, small town where our heroes live, and no film grain, perfectly clean image. And then it just kind of comes on and off. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or a deliberate choice. Found it a little distracting. Because there didn't seem to be a thematic reason to do it that way. At least not one I picked up on. But that's hardly a large problem. So this is a violent show, which is cool. We've got limbs being torn off, and we've got bad language, and we got a butt. There was a butt, and blood. So good stuff. Good stuff. It's interesting because the characters have a pretty Saturday morning cartoon design to them, which doesn't quite belie the profanity and gore that shows up in the show. But that's okay. Makes for a fine juxtaposition, I suppose. So, our opening scene, we have the big bad guy who has his minions putting some other dude through an initiation of some sort, which involves him burning a symbol into his hands. And then he dumps some weird vial of powder into his mouth. And then says, kill him. But the guy he says to kill, hulks out. And then kills half of the big bad guy's minions. And then leaves, bursts through the door and runs out into the night. It's early in the series yet, but I don't know what the big bad guy is doing. If your initiation ends up wiping out half of your crew, you should probably consider other methods of initiation. That does not seem sustainable to me. But I don't run a big bad guy place, so what do I know? So after that, we switch to the happy town of SEIS Manos, where there's no crime except little Domingo, a rambunctious 12-year-old kid who sometimes steals fruit from the fruit vendor because he's homeless and needs something to eat. Oh, you rascally little kid. And the local police person is sweeping the dirt. Probably not going to do much good. The only thing that's under a layer of dirt on the ground is more dirt, but she has nothing else to do. But she sees little Domingo run off with a mango, and she's like, oh, thank God, a crime. Chases after him and immediately loses him, so she's not really great. So little Domingo climbs up a tree and eats his mango and looks into the local dojo. It's not a dojo, it's more like a temple where your typical Chinese master oversees his 3 students who are orphans themselves, I suppose. Trains them in the ways of kung fu, I suppose. The Chinese martial art of some sort, based on the posing. So he's watching two of the titular SEIS MANOS, so Cuatro Manos, spar. And then he falls out of the tree. And they invite him in and like, oh, hey, a homeless little ragamuffin, you can live with us. He says, okay. So he runs away the next morning, I get to return the mango because he felt kind of bad about stealing. And so the other SEIS Manoses are like, oh, where'd he go? You, one of the SEIS Manoses, you drove him off, didn't you, you ornery, surly butthead? Because he was trying to, he got stung by a bunch of bees because he's bad at collecting honey. So they go out and they look for little Domingo, and the guy that hulked out the previous night ends up at the temple and beats the old sensei dude to death. So that's not fun. And then the hulked out dude shows up in the town. Oh, and there's also some DEA agent who gets sent to Mexico for some reason. He's there. Very, very 70s dude. So he could be fun. Doesn't get a lot to do here, but he opens the, his boss or someone knocks on his hotel room door and says, I'm sending you to Mexico. And he just answers the door completely naked. And says, well, I guess I'm going to have to stop sleeping with your wife now that I'm going down to Mexico. Yeah, ha ha ha, how funny. And he goes in the bedroom, there's a woman there. She says, who was at the door? She says, your husband. I don't know if he's just joking or if he's really stupping his boss's wife, but shouldn't do that. But, 70s trope, so. So the hulked out guy gets into town, starts tearing up the populace, and then drinks a bunch of gasoline and explodes himself, which flings a car door into a statue, and the statue falls on little Domingo, and he gets crushed to death. Which, really, you should have seen coming, because the show is called SEIS Manos, not Ocho Manos, or 10 Manos. So, you knew there was only going to be the 3. Can't have the sensei, can't have the little kid, that's too many Manoses. Can only have SEIS. I was thinking, the show takes place in Mexico, where people are ostensibly speaking Spanish, but they're not, they're speaking English. Even though the DEA guy shows up and he's like, what's the Spanish word for police? And I'm thinking, why do you care everyone's speaking English? We've got a bunch of Spanish-speaking people living in Mexico speaking Spanish. Why is this show not in Spanish? There is a Spanish language track, but the original language is English, so I guess that's what I'll watch it in. I'm an original language kind of guy. Eh. Um, at least I looked at the cast. At least two of them I know are multilingual, so you probably could have done it. But whatever. Um, so now we have. Oh, and one of the remaining bad guys showed up to try to capture the hulked out guy, but he killed most of them. So one of them survives and goes back to the big boss guy and says, "Oh, he drank gasoline and exploded, and everyone else died." He says, "You're the only one left." He says, "Yeah, well, you're the only one I can punish," and he shoots him in the head. So now you've got no bad guys, you've got no minions. Good job, dude. I don't know what your plan is, but I can't imagine this is the desired result. Um, I like chili covered mangoes. They're yum. Actual just plain mangoes, a fruit, not a fan, but the candied mangoes with chili powder, nummies. That has nothing to do with the show really, except there's mangoes in it. So, basic setup. We've got three martial arts kids who are going to avenge their master and the kid who got smushed, and we've got the police officer and the DEA agent who are there also. Yeah. So the fighting, the choreography is good and the animation is pretty nice. So will I continue watching? Yeah, I think I'll at least check out episode 2, see where it's going. I mean, I'm not really getting a great sense of character yet. I'm not getting a great sense of what the plot is or what the stakes are. I mean, I'm guessing revenge story of some sort. I imagine this stuff is all going to tie together at some point, but I think it could have been done a better job of letting you know what they're up against. Because the big bad guy just seems like a dumbass. I don't know what he's planning, but he seems pretty incompetent. Because I can't imagine that whatever the hell he's planning, he's succeeding at. Don't know. I'll have to see. But it's got some it's actiony. It's got some fun gore. It killed a kid. It smushed him like a bug. So hey, mad respect if you're gonna kill a kid. I don't expect that. I don't need. I've talked about this before. I don't need you to kill kids, but if you show me that you're willing to kill who I figured would be the annoying child protagonist, mad respect, yo. That makes me think, oh, okay, there are stakes. Anything could happen here. The main characters could die if you're willing to smush a 12-year-old. All right. So, yeah, be interested to give it another episode or so and see where it goes. So, yeah. SEIS Manos. I had never heard. Any of you heard of this before? That's kind of the fun about. Sometimes you hear it. I'm just browsing around. I see SEIS Manos. I'm like, yeah, let's try that. See what the hell it is. Because you never know what you're gonna get. Doesn't mean you're gonna get anything good. In this case, I got kind of a mixed bag with some potential. So I guess I will see if that potential bears fruit. Because I like fruit. Not mangoes so much, but fruit in general, yeah. Yeah.